My boyfriend, a 32-year-old male, and I, a 32-year-old female, have been together for 2 years. We do not live together. His birthday weekend ended in an argument, and I know I did not handle myself well. There was a misunderstanding around dinner plans. I felt excluded and embarrassed, and instead of communicating calmly, I reacted emotionally. I have apologized, taken accountability, and owned my part without excuses. He refused to see me the entire weekend, and I did not get to spend his birthday with him. He told me he was going out with 2 friends and ended up going out with over 20 people, friends and their girlfriends. I was not invited. I got upset and angry. He told me he never said that and I need to work on my listening skills. He said I was just ruining his birthday out of spite. But what has happened since has left me feeling completely shattered and confused. He did not just say he was hurt. He told me that I do not deserve to be forgiven, that I am lucky if I ever hear from him again, and that he does not know if he can love me after this. He then went silent. He put his phone on Do Not Disturb mode, stopped replying, and gave me no timeline, no clarity, no boundary, nothing. I do not even know if we are broken up. I asked and he refused to answer. He just said he needs space, but would not tell me what that means, how long, or where we stand. It feels like being held in limbo, waiting to be chosen or discarded. I know I messed up by reacting out of hurt and insecurity. I am not proud of it, but I have never once told him he doesn't deserve forgiveness. I have never punished him with silence. I have been ruminating over every detail, replaying every moment, trying to understand how a conflict turned into me being told I am basically unlovable and might never hear from him again. I do not know how to make sense of the intensity of the punishment compared to the mistake. I want to take responsibility from my part without disappearing into shame. I want to learn from this without feeling like my existence now requires penance. I want repair, not powerlessness. And I can't tell if what I'm waiting for is a conversation or the slow fade of a breakup he will not say out loud. I guess what I'm asking is, at what point does space become a breakup? How do you repair when the other person refuses to tell you whether the relationship is even still intact? And is there a version of accountability that does not require you to accept being spoken to like you are disposable? It has been 4 whole days since he has spoken to me. A lot has happened since my last post, and a lot of you asked for an update. I did end up hearing from him, and honestly, it confirmed everything I needed to stop holding on. He finally replied, but instead of any real conversation, it was just hostility. He told me he made it very clear we were over. He did not. It was vague, avoidant, and followed by days of silence, and then said it was my listening skills again. He told me he could never forgive me for what happened. He said he's lucky if I don't block him. Why won't he block me? Because I know I usually beg him. If he did not want me to keep messaging him, he would have blocked me and said we were over. For context, the unforgivable thing I did was question why he lied about who he was spending his birthday dinner with, and when I was hurt and emotional, saying do whatever the fuck you want with whoever the fuck you want, because it honestly felt like he was excluded and gaslighting me. Was it the most graceful thing I could have said? No, but the punishment absolutely did not fit the crime. I did not scream, I did not throw things, I did not threaten him, I did not call him names. I acted like someone would being gaslit. He said I forced him to break up with me on his birthday and that no one has ever made him so angry. The irony is he had already been pulling away and treating me like an inconvenience long before that night. He clearly wanted to end it but needed a villain for the story. I asked for my things back, clothes, sentimental items, and things I bought for him that matter to me. He refused, saying he doesn't want me anywhere near him, that I disgust him, that he doesn't want me near his house, and that I am not getting anything back. He then said he is keeping my things as compensation for the utility cost for me being at his house once a week. I wish I was exaggerating. He also said he won't post some items back because they have his DNA on them. Yes, sex toys, and that he doesn't trust what I might do with them, which is genuinely unhinged. When I told him I didn't want to argue and asked him to please just post my things, he just tried to bait me into another fight about me ruining his birthday. My birthday was yesterday. He ignored it completely. I ended the conversation with, please give me the tracking number when you post the items. This will be the final time you hear from me. All the best. His response is, shut the fuck up, I'm trying to drive home. I feel hurt, disrespected, and honestly embarrassed that I ever convinced myself this was love. I was ready to fix things. I had planned special things for his birthday. I wanted to show up, talk it out, make it right. But you can't repair something when the other person wants someone to blame, not a partner to resolve conflict with. At this point, I'm cutting my losses. The items don't matter more than my dignity and safety. Whatever happens next, this is over for me. I'm done trying to explain myself to someone who uses every mistake as ammunition and every conversation as a punishment. I am hurt, but I am seeing clearly now. Thanks to everyone who opened my eyes when I was not ready. I get it now. My husband and I are at our wits' end with our son's inability to get over his high school girlfriend. They broke up in 2011 after having dated for about 2 years. At the time, I did fully empathize with him. He had moved away for college while she stayed behind. They made efforts to see each other and talked frequently, but she began a relationship with someone else while she was still in one with my son. She at least had the decency to end things with my son in person and did admit she was wrong in not having broken up with him before taking up with the new boyfriend. Nonetheless, my son was devastated by this, and we supported him as best we could. I think he might have moved on in time were it not for the fact that his ex-girlfriend then almost immediately married the young man. This fact sent my son into a spiral which has continued in some form or another over the last 14 years. Back then, I thought the marriage was unlikely to last long, and that when it ended, he'd feel some kind of vindication and drop it. But our son checks her social media frequently and says they are still married and have children. My son has had a few girlfriends in the last 14 years, but none that have lasted long. And even during the times he has been attached, he still continues to talk about how wronged he was. We see him very frequently, and while his ex is not our only topic of discussion, she does come up in some way almost every time we see him. We probably know more about her life now than we did while they were dating. We have allowed him to vent, but did eventually set boundaries around abusive language. In general, we employ the tactic of nod and agree, then change the subject. It is like he cannot resist an opportunity to bring her up. This past weekend, things came to a head when our son made an offhand comment about his ex. My husband responded by shouting at our son to get over it already, that we were sick of hearing about a girl he dated more than a decade ago, and that he needed to stop all mention of her around us. I asked my husband to go in another room and take a breather, and when he did, I suggested to my son that if he truly cannot move past this, that we help him seek some sort of therapy or other intervention. He responded by immediately leaving and has not responded to any of my texts or calls since. I wish my husband had not shouted, but I am right there with him. This has gone on too long, and we have enabled the behavior. I have even wondered if he would still be bringing her up if we had put our foot down about this before. Anytime we have pushed back in any way or challenged any assertion he made about his ex or their relationship, he has become very upset. So we defaulted to just let him vent. I do not think he has done any more than stalk her social media, but I feel this has long been unhealthy and may require an intervention of some kind. I'm hoping he comes around in the next few days, but I'm unsure how to broach the topic again without further upsetting him. I thought that I should make an update for those who might be curious about how my situation got resolved. A lot of the comments advised me to break up, but I could not just do that. I wanted to at least try and talk it out, foolishly hoping that suddenly we would find common ground and fix everything. A few days after the fight, he finally called me to set up a meeting to discuss everything. Between the fight and the setup meeting, I have been looking for some solution myself. Per advice on here and from my real-life friends, I tried looking for some outside support, and I researched some well-rated but cheap therapists around the area. When we finally met, he was the one who really wanted to speak first. He told me that he appreciated that I gave him a few days of space to think things through. Then he said that he hates to do it to me, but he needs to give me an ultimatum. If I want to stay with him, I need to find a job and cut financial support from my family by the end of this month. I could see that no butt in the world could sway him to change that choice for him. I did not even have a chance to mention the help I have been researching, kind of freezing for a moment instead. It might sound silly, but I have never experienced love disappear as quickly as it did in that moment. I did not even know that is possible. His words broke whatever charm he had and made me see that ultimatum for what it truly was. His attempt at managing my life to match whatever idea he had in his mind. All the comments from here flooded my mind as I realized that all of you were correct. I am sorry for even doubting you all. I broke things off immediately. I wish I could say that I told him something smart or cheeky, but I literally just said that I am done and left, tearing up the whole way back home. He called and messaged me a lot since then, saying that maybe we can discuss things, that it does not have to be an ultimatum, but a goal for the future, and so on. But I don't think there's a way of fixing things. I would be lying if I said that I don't have any love left for him. It was my first serious relationship that I thought might genuinely last, but now it turned into my first serious breakup. Things are a bit difficult now as I grieve the idea of my first love, but I know that I will get better, sooner or later. Your advice in the last post was pretty helpful and gave me lots to think about, so I would like to ask you for one more piece of advice. If you were me, what would you tell mutual friends in a situation like this? I'm already getting asked by our friends about what exactly happened, but I'm worried that if I tell them the truth, this whole drama will continue, or people will be talking about it and I will not be able to emotionally rest from the situation. I'm tempted to just tell them it was a mutual breakup or something just to be done with it all and leave it in the past. I need a mature perspective on something that happened. My boyfriend has always hated condoms. We have never really used them, except our very first time together when he wore one for about 2 minutes and we both agreed to take it off. Since then, we have always had sex without one. Yesterday, out of nowhere, he insisted on wearing a condom and was very serious about it. When I tried to take it off because we both prefer without, he literally held my hand to stop me. That has never happened before. When I asked why, he said he did not want to get me pregnant because he is about to leave the city for 6 months for a short-term contract. That surprised me because he knows my cycle very well and I was not fertile at all. We have also had sex on peak fertility days in the past with no protection, and he has always talked about wanting a baby someday. I have told him I wanted to give him one too. For context, he was married for 15 years and his ex-wife never had a pregnancy scare. So seeing him suddenly become strict about condoms just feels strange and very sudden. And when I asked him 3 times why, and he redirected the conversation instead of explaining. On top of that, he asked me to wait for him during these 6 months. So now my mind is going in circles. I do not want to accuse him, but I keep wondering, is he suddenly unsure about our future and does not know how to say it? Did something happen, or did he get involved with someone else? Could he be worried about something health-related and does not want to talk about it? Did he change his mind about wanting a child with me? These are uncomfortable questions, and I do not want to sound like I don't trust him, but this was such an abrupt shift that I do not know what to think. I want to approach this like an adult and communicate clearly. Could this be a red flag, and how do I bring this up in a calm, non-accusatory way while still getting clarity? Or maybe I am not understanding his vision. Alright, I need help. I am posting anonymously for what will be obvious reasons. This post may be a little not safe for work. My husband, a 35-year-old male, confided in me, a 35-year-old female today, that I do not feel good during sex anymore. Over the past couple of years, we have been struggling with him keeping at attention once we start penetrative intercourse, and he blamed it on being tired, etc. for a while. But over time, I have noticed a pattern. He has no issues keeping it up for oral and other things, but the second it comes to direct sex, he loses motivation. So I confronted him, and he admitted that he thinks I am loose. I am so mortified, embarrassed, insulted, and so many other feelings. He also said he is not as attracted to me as he used to be. He has admittedly struggled with porn addiction in the past. We got together when we were both 26 years old, so of course I do not look like I used to. I have gained weight, so has he. I do not look like the woman in porn. What can I do to improve things? Can Kegel exercises really make that big of a difference? I want to take this seriously and invest in myself so my husband is attracted to me. I am going to have to find out how to get over the hurt of it all and the embarrassment, but I also want to address the issue. In summary, After nearly 10 years together, my husband says he thinks I am loose and less attractive. What can I do to be tighter? Are Kegel exercises really that effective, or can I do more? Hey everyone, thanks to everyone who read and commented on my original post about my family's reaction to my engagement. It's now been over 3 months since that happened. I wish I could say things have improved, but unfortunately they've gotten worse. My fiance and I have continued building our life together and planning our wedding, but my mom and sister have not reached out in any healthy or supportive way. After months of silence, other than random texts, not addressing the elephant in the room, and even then that was more recent, my sister finally messaged me recently. She wanted to have a conversation with just her brother and wouldn't entertain a conversation to start with my fiance included. Instead of accountability or a real attempt to make things right, she sent a guilt-filled text accusing me of treating my family like they don't matter, saying I was being controlled by outside voices, and closing with, "How you're treating the only family you have left." That last line hit hard. Our uncle recently passed away, and it felt like she was weaponizing that loss to hurt me. The message was manipulative and avoided any responsibility for the way they reacted to my engagement. I realized that responding would only pull me back into the same cycle that's existed for years, where I'm expected to smooth things over while they refuse to reflect on their behavior. So I didn't reply. Even when well-meaning people, including my fiance's mom, suggested I might try a one-on-one talk to ease the tension, I realized that doing so right now would mean betraying my self-respect. There's been no apology, no ownership, and no acknowledgement that the problem began when they turned my engagement announcement into something about them. At this point, I'm maintaining silence until there's genuine change. I'm not closing the door forever, but I'm no longer willing to carry the emotional responsibility for people who won't meet me halfway. Any thoughts? Advice?